I'm going to do some insight today around what's going on at the moment. There's a lot of things shifting, a lot of things happening spiritually. I've been looking around a lot of Facebook groups. I've joined a few of them. They're around sort of like spiritual awakening, spiritual sort of development, sort of ascended masters, energies that are coming down. A lot of people are talking about like the Lion's Gate that's coming around. I don't know a lot about astrology. I don't sort of like sit there and say to anybody I know a lot about astrology. I don't. All I know about is what's happening to me individually. I read a post today that was talking about um, sort of like source energy and light, but also how this is expressed uniquely. And I feel this is a very, very important point because I think there's a lot of people going through the shifting and changing at the moment, and they're looking at like something's happening, but you can start looking around at other people and at what's happening to them, and you know although some of it might resonate with you and might align with you, however it's not your unique expression. And this is one of the most key things about spirituality to me, and it's something that I learned a while back, and I feel this is a really sort of important sort of insight and awareness, especially through my own guidance and my own sort of expression. For a long time, I sat in circles within churches where I was working with people, and it was like, or working with individuals in a circle, and everybody expressed it differently, and they expressed their light in a different way. However, it was how they were receiving stuff, how they were receiving information, how they were receiving messages. So there's not one way to do it, and I think a lot of people sort of like start off and they go to people and they sort of look for development and growth spiritually. But the key thing is to listen to your own guidance and your own insights. I found this out because I work differently to a lot of people. I sense and feel, and how I receive things is different to how other people do. The messages have a resonance and the same sort of information, but you need to learn and trust your own guidance. And this is where intuition and this is about connecting to your own source comes from. And it's your own expression of what people call like the I am presence, which is like this soul energy or this spiritual energy that you have, which is connected to like um, the infinite source or the infinite sort of like, or like co-creation. And I think this is really important because at this time, each of us are awakening and expressing our light in our own way, and that's part of a whole. And it's really important that we start to sort of like recognize that within ourselves. So the first thing I do whenever I sort of connect to something is I see what's directed me. What am I being drawn to? What am I feeling? What am I sensing? What kind of visions or energy am I feeling? And then I go with that. I don't question it. I don't try and analyze it. I just feel it, sense it in that energy, and then I start to sort of just express it. Express it means sort of like discuss it, talk about it, um, send it out there. If I have any kind of visions or any kind of energy, I just go with it and just allow it to flow through me. And I think this is a really important aspect of spirituality, especially at the moment with everything going on. I'm seeing so much at the moment. I've seen like columns of light that are coming down and they're going into the trees. I'm seeing like big purple spheres above trees. I'm also seeing sort of energetic sort of like beings that are just around and stuff like that, and I'm seeing those within the ether. So I know this is a great time of change, and I know there's lots of energies that are coming down, and they're coming down to the planet at the moment, and they're sort of like they're connecting and they're aligning with us, and it's shifting our collective consciousness, and it's shifting our individual consciousness. And this is why it's so important with like energy fields as well with yourself. Everything that I keep getting shown is about going back to harmony, going back to balance. Everything is balance and harmony. I feel this is very strong with like ascended masters. This is very strong with like, angelic sort of presences at the moment. But the planet is very much in a sort of like I say this, I keep saying this, like a fragmented um, energy at the moment. You've got like old patterns and old cycles that are still sort of on the planet, and some of us are still connected to those. as I start to connect into those, I feel like my third eye opens up with the light. My throat chakra's open up and my heart chakra's open up. So I know these three chakra points are very much connected to this kind of expansion in our own energy and our own energy centers. So also it's very much like I've been seeing like orange as well within the sky. I feel this is around like universal sort of like compassion, but it also like connects to like pink, which is like universal harmony, balance, but truth as well. And these kind of things are coming through at the moment as I start to connect into the energy. It's very much around a divine flow as well. I feel like the Ascended Master Almora is very much connected to this at the moment. That energy frequency, which is around sort of the universal intelligence, the divine flow, the divine source, as it starts to bring it down. It's connecting our spiritual energy to sort of like this infinite source again. It's connecting us, and it's opening up our energy centers so we can start to be in connection with it. And this is a big, really important part at the moment, because I feel this is what's happening with a lot of people because of the new energies that are coming down, like they're activating our own energy fields and our own like our light bodies and our light frequencies. You know, we're being asked to dissolve these kind of older patterns and these older sort of energies within us, and we're being asked to sort of like expand and open to them. And it's very much that we need to do this daily. I know that I'm going to work and I keep sort of like, I'm being distracted by sort of like physical things that are going on, like, you know, sort of like, you know, some of the lower frequencies where we become sort of like fearful, we become caught up in anger, we become anxious, we become stressed, and all these kind of, as these frequencies start to build, I'm being taken back into my heart. And this is again where this is sort of like this sacred flame is like sitting with me, this like source energy which is connected to this orange flame, which started off as an orange flame, but now I just feel like I'm just moving into this sort of like this infinite golden energy. And as I move into it, things just dissolve, and I just feel like things are opening. And I've been asked to keep going back to this, into the heart center, where there's balance, there's peace, and there's harmony. And I have to keep sort of being told to come back into that, because we're still on the outer world. There's all these energy sort of frequencies and energy sort of vibrations that are happening, and I'm being told to sort of go back into that, which is really, really important. Also, a very, very sort of like good sort of crystal for today, connected to the orange colour, is Carlinian, and it's around sort of personal will, and sort of divine will, but it also like creates like the solar plexus again, which is connected to like citrine as well, which is very much around sort of creativity and creation. And we're very much in this sense of co-creation at the moment, and it's asking us to sort of like go into that and start to dissolve and remove these frequencies, as we shift from like the third dimension to the fourth dimension, and then as we move towards the fifth dimension, which is very much around sort of like this Lion's Gate is around sort of like two infinite circles. This is how I see the figure 8. Talking about abundance, but it's about sort of bringing heaven to earth, and using the word like heaven to earth is about sort of connecting to those spiritual realms, those energetic realms. So it's very much around how are we bringing or expressing that light within us, that unique sort of presence that we have within ourselves, and how we're expressing that. As we become lighter and brighter, we start to dissolve these physical sort of challenges and these blocks, but those lower frequencies we will be able to remain more in sort of like this frequency of balance, harmony, and it will integrate within our own energy frequencies. And this is how I see this down. So the sort of Lion's Gate is bringing down these higher frequencies, these higher energies at the moment, and they're connecting. It's very much around healing as well, because as I start to talk about this, my minor chakras in my hands are spinning and buzzing. There's like loads, there's like it's infinite energy in the center of my hands, and whenever I feel that, it's about healing. It's about sort of like, and this is what this cleansing and purifying is going on at the moment, and it's very much around that. So it's like speaking your truth, expressing your light, expressing your uniqueness, and it's all about sort of a collective consciousness and shifting. But it's about us coming back in as like when I say like collective consciousness, it's about universal oneness, and it's about this wholeness that we're all part of this infinite source, this infinite energy, and this infinite flow, and it's very much around this. And this is where again this ascended master, Almora, comes in, because it's like this blue ray which brings healing, but it brings communication, it brings knowledge, it brings wisdom, but it also brings insight around sort of around like the universal sort of like source and the universal flow, the divine flow. It's very much trying to awaken our spiritual minds to start to see the insights and start to understand and to see the flow of information that's around us, because this is where some of the disconnections come in. A lot of people are feeling like these emotions and they're moving through them, but they're also becoming stuck in them, and it's very much around about dissolving them. And this is what this information is coming through, and this is why this I feel like this Almora's blue intelligence flow, like vibration, is coming, because it's lifting us up, it's dissolving it, and it's allowing us to sort of like be connected to that universal flow, that universal intelligence, that divine intelligence. There's information everywhere for everybody at the moment. As our energy bodies and energy frequencies are heightening, we're becoming more open. As we become more open, we're becoming open to those sort of like that fourth dimension, and then moving to that fifth dimension. So the fourth dimension is living more spiritually, but also dissolving and letting go of more of the material world and the physical world. It's about spending more time within a sacred space within ourselves. It's about spending more time within our energy, so we're more connected to that source. And as we connect to that source, we dissolve and we release things that are in our energy field, but also don't serve us anymore. And it's very much around angels as well. The angelic sort of frequencies, the archangels are bringing this kind of energy as well, and it's going in the ether as well. So if you're an empath or you're a sensitive being, you will pick up on some of this. The planet at the moment is in a state of turmoil and chaos. You know, you've got political systems, you've got wars, you've got economic stuff going on, and it's very much like if we started looking at like COVID when it came along, and it sort of like shifted up and shook everything up. It's very much like that kind of thing. Each of these are part of the cycle as the planet is starting to evolve and it's starting to release. It's part of the Earth sort of Mother Earth releasing these energy frequencies and releasing them, but it's also part of our awakening process. So everything that's happening at the moment is the way it's meant to be. There's no wrong or right way. There's just about being. You need to express your light and sit in your being and allow these things to flow through you. Don't become attached to anything. This was another thing that I had yesterday. I had labradorite come through yesterday. I talked about this yesterday. Labradorite's about removing that illusion. It's about removing that sort of attachment, and it's very much around attachment. Not becoming sort of like connected to these frequencies. If something comes in and it's a lower frequency, dissolve it, move through it, allow it to go through you, keep coming back into harmony. And this is what I was talking about, the heart center earlier on in the reading. This is what I was very much talking about. It's about saying going into your heart chakra, your heart center. It's very much connected to the third eye as well, giving clarity of mind, clarity of vision. The third eye is opening up to receive the information and the insight, and allow it to come into your energy field, and you will find things will shift very quickly. And this is part of the dissolving and the purifying and the cleansing process, but it's also part of the shifting and the aligning of the planets and this lion's gate where this energy is coming down. And it's very much around sort of like trying to remain in that energy, and it is very difficult because I go to work every day, and I'm very much connected to these energy frequencies at the moment. However, I'm going to work and things distract me all the time, and I have to keep bringing myself back. You know, I've just sat down out in the garden. My mind was my sort of like my physical mind is bouncing to things that I've got to do today. You know, the stresses and the strains that might come, and each of those are taking you out of balance. They're taking you out of harmony. They're taking you out of that kind of that frequency, that source frequency, where there's peace, there's security, and there's just trust, and keep coming back in. So it's purifying. It's using the breath as well, just to breathe, slow down, and bring yourself back into presence and back into your source energy. And this is why when some people talk about like the soul and going home, Well, that source energy is your essence. It's your expression. It's your light expression, and it's very much at the core and the center of you as a being. And it's about trying to remain in that. And if you go into that, things slow down, energy slows down, and things dissolve. So it's very much around that. It's all about purifying and cleansing at the moment, letting go. And each of us here, as spiritual beings, and have our consciousness, can raise that frequency. And as we raise that frequency collectively, we can do that. Each individual has the power of co-creation, but also has the power of this, of your consciousness, of your energy, and you can raise that frequency. And that when you start to raise it, that ripples out onto the planet. As it ripples out to the planet, it goes, and it connects to others, it connects to the ether, it connects to the consciousness of the planet. And as that shifts and raises, then that affects things. That can affect all things. It has a, the energy sort of, the energy vibration, or the energy world is there. It's just the spiritual energy is there, and it does affect. And as people become more sensitive and more open up, it will open. People will start to pick up on it, and they will start to feel the shift in the frequency of the planet, and you'll become aligned with the planet. And this is where we're going. We're becoming more aligned with the planet. We're becoming more aligned with each other, and this is the awakening. And then we start to connect on a spiritual level, and then we will create a spiritual reality. And that's the end goal. And this is what people are sort of talking about with like this golden age that's coming. It's very much around that. And as we start to shift that consciousness, and it's really, really important that we do this at the moment. Well, that's the insight for today. I hope this helps people.